Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome one, welcome all to part of your Wednesday night entertainment. We're here, MRS, round 9, I do believe this is, and we're here in Suzuka, Japan. A lovely sunny qualifying session for the gentlemen and our racers this evening. Will we have that for the race though? But we will see. Quite early. We've still got 17.5 minutes of qualifying to go through. And if you've seen any of our races so far, Hungary last week, very exciting, as it usually is. But we can go through the standings very soon. It's lovely to actually see a few of our drivers back. Dean back with us after missing one or two races, same with Grimo as well. So we've got quite a nice field of 10 drivers. The regulars are all with us this evening. Nobody in a rush to leave the pits, and as I say that, we have, I think that is a papaya machine of Trem. Going to be the first one out on circuit. Of course, this beautiful figure of 8 classic track. We've seen some incredible races over the years, haven't we, ladies and gentlemen? It is one of those tracks that is big to and major in terms of heritage in Formula 1. Very difficult circuit, a lot of high speed corners, need a lot of stability on the car. Generally a higher downforce circuit than you'd like to think, with needing that turning, that grip, especially through that first sector. As trim goes a little bit wide up Dunlop, and that is one of those corners that I was talking about. You need a stable car, and you can't move wide there. That curb absolutely treacherous. Luckily Trem got away with it on his outlap. IliquidGasL, actually, he's gone with a different strategy this evening. If anybody races F1 24, they will know when it comes to qualifying and when it comes to selecting your tyre selections. If you went for the softer strategies, you get 4 sets of soft compound tyres. If you choose balanced, you'd get 3 sets of softs and 1 medium. But IliquidGasL has gone a little bit different. He's gone for the harder choice, so it means have a lot less soft tyres, but he has that extra set of hard compound tyres, which we can see him on now, the whites on the wall of the tyres on that Williams. So an interesting selection for Jack this evening, going maybe a little bit against the grain. And maybe one that he's just thought, okay, this is time I need to shake it up a little bit, try to close the gaps on the 2 Kick-Salbers ahead, who are 1 and 2 in the championship. But everybody apart from Mike and Dean, we know Dean actually doesn't like to go out that early in qualifying, but everyone else out on track. Thomas as well, starting a lap. Blood Diamond, he is just going through turn 1, turn 2. So we'll keep an eye on the V-carb, because of course Blood Diamond having a really strong season so far, but he's now got his teammate with him once again this evening, so they'll be hoping for a really strong result and clawing their way up the championship, especially for the constructors, which, like I say, we will go through very soon indeed. Let me know you're involved, folks, in the Twitch chat. Be lovely to have you. Everyone viewing, 7 of you, lovely to have you with me this evening. Thank you very much for joining. But now we've got already 4 minutes gone of the session, and I think even though we're on board with Blood Diamond as he comes to the end of the second sector, we've got, I was going to be interested to see what Jack can do, or IliquidGasL, on the hard tyres. There's Blood Diamond setting purple sectors, of course, on his first lap. Evening, Mike. I know you're on a quali one. You can do an outlap and an in-lap, so you are welcome to do that to test your setup. Make sure it's feeling okay. Deployment used for Blood Diamond, that's going to hamper him, but still does a 29.1, 1.7 seconds ahead. Where is IliquidGasL? There he is. Coming round the final corner. What can he do as across the line? It's a 30.3 on the hard tyres. Really good lap. Splits Thomas and Trem. Interestingly, a lot of the drivers, we used to see them do sort of 2 warm-up laps, but not quite this time. But it'll be interesting to see who does a cool down and goes again. Tries to get the recharge on their batteries. I think Dom sort of bailed on his lap. He's on 0 for his ERS, but that's sometimes not a problem, because if you try that, I think he hasn't actually put it back, so I think he has bailed on this lap, but it's not really a problem a lot of the time. A lot of drivers actually going back into the pits, Mike, down there, but Monster has pitted again. Grimaud just 7/10 behind his teammates, so currently a 1-2. Let's go on board with Vexman. Maybe having a bit of an easier lap at this moment in time. I think he is, because he's got quite a bit of his battery. And now let's see what he can do. Switched it to hot lap. Powers down the start finish straight. Even though that was a 30.5, still a very good lap time. He was just taking that easy, like a double warm up for the Red Bull man. And a track, this one, that all the drivers, pretty much every driver loves Suzuka, don't they? Real drivers track. This first sector crucial to get it right. You can lose quite a lot of time if you get just part of it wrong, Evening Monster. But yeah, you can really lose a lot of time if you just run wide a little bit through one of the S's. And, Vexman taking quite a lot of curb there in the second, degging the curb. But you can do that. It's easy to unsettle the car, though. Easy to get on the power just that little bit too much. Oh, interesting. A low downforce setup. Okay, fingers crossed. Hopefully, if we've got a dry race, then we shouldn't find too much problems there, Jay. But if we do have a bit of the monsoon weather that you can get in Japan, it doesn't just spit with rain. It doesn't get a little bit moist. It pours down in this part of the world. Let's have a look at Vexman. He is 2/10 up on his previous time. This could see him potentially top 3. Maybe if he has a fantastic final sector, this could challenge Grimaud, but it goes very deep. Oh, that's horrible for Vexman. Extremely deep into the Casio triangle. Mike's doing his outlap and in lap, so I'll leave him be with that one. Dom is on a lap. He's finished actually 29.8, just behind Grimaud. Thomas is on a lap as well. Actually, let's go back to Jack, because as mentioned, he is on the hard tyres, slightly up on his middle sector. So that's going to be interesting to see how he can improve, because we all know during race trim the hard tyres take a couple of laps to warm up and really get the grip. Bounced nicely over the first part of the Casio triangle. Don't want to run too wide. Oh, it gets a bit snaky down the hill. But is it going to be an improvement? It is. What an improvement that is from Jack on the hard tyres. 29.7. A lot of drivers now looking to use. That'll be Blood Diamond just leaving the pits. He's on the medium compound tyres. Monster's out on an out lap. Who's on a fast lap? Dom's taking this one easy. Invalidated early on. Couple of spots here that you can invalidate, which we'll go through during the course of this session. So it's going to be interesting to see the strategies around here. 10 drivers out on circuit in the race, so big points on offer as Dom has pitted. And I think looking at the fuel light flashing there for Liquid Gas, that is his hard tyre run over with. But really solid performance there. I'm sure he'll be happy with that one. Monster starting fast lap. Obviously not off put by his teammate coming out the pits. So we shall leave him be. I know he likes to keep focused. Oh, Trem getting very wide at the exit for his next run. That's going to hamper his run down the straight. Now to start his soft tyre run. Let's have a look. Let's go on board with Thomas's early on in his lap. Vexman is behind his teammate. He's coming into sector 1. So I want to follow somebody on a lap. Trem has invalidated early, so he has got to bail on that lap. Who is out on a lap? Where's Blood Diamond? Just starting up. So let's have a look. Into turn 1. Flat out. Turn 2. Tightening all the way. Important to get a very good exit through there. And then we've got turn 3. Almost flat. Takes a lot of the inside curb. And then turn 5. Just steady. Patient on the throttle. Don't want to run too much. He's doing a second warm-up lap, so we'll leave him be as well. How is Mr. Maud getting on? Coming up to 130 up. absolutely flat through there. A little bit bumpy down that back straight. Difficult for the drivers to find the right line as well to sort of minimise the bumps and to stop the car from bottoming out. You want it to be as smooth as possible, and he takes the short run to the line to 29.8, just behind Grimor and 2 thousandths ahead of Dom. So you've got a good lap on the board there, Monster. Been qualifying well this season. A couple of races not always gone to plan, but he has scored some good points. So now let's have a look at Vexman through turn 2. He is on a flyer. And now we're going into turn 3, takes that wide line, nearly flat, drops it to 5th to get the rotation on the car as we go through 5, and then the tighter and long turn 6. Don't want to get that curve, that's just what happened to Vexman. Kiss hits that curve, the car very unsettled and sliding. May have lost a bit of time through. Let's have a look at the end of his first sector. Actually, he's up 2 and a bit tenths. Wow. Could have been even more, I would have to say. Grimor's pit. Thomas, oh, a bit snaky. Outside of turn 11 hairpin. There's his teammate. Getting out the way. So I would like to do an onboard lap, but I think I'm going to do it with Dean in a moment. He has just left the pits with 6 minutes 45 left. He is on the medium compound tyres in the kick. So Vexman half a second up. This could be a good lap. It goes very wide and invalidates right at the end. Maybe got a kick of oversteer through it. You're still going to get the line right through there, and that's... Oh, he's going to be gutted with that, because that would have been up near close to Dom, I would say, with that one. Let's have a look. Who else is on a lap? Where is Dean? There he is, a bit further back, so we'll come back to him in a little while. We'll keep our eye on Blood Diamond for the time being. Coming through Spoon Curve. Put the power down nicely. Uses the very flat part of that exit curb, which is nice to do, and you can just get that ridge quite nicely if you kiss that with the outside of your tyre, and it can help catapult you and give you a little bit of a buffer to head off down this back straight. Of course, no DRS down there, only one DRS zone, which is down the start finish straight, and he has also bailed Blood Diamond on his lap. So, come on folks, give me something. Thomas is on a lap. Trem's coming to the end of one. What can he do to improve? Does slightly improve. Stays 8th though. Now then, Dean. Here we go. Turn 1, flat brakes, late. Keeps it in 5th for this one. You see some drivers up to 4th, even 3rd. For turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, use a little bit of that curve. That's okay. Just kisses it nicely. Is he going to take this curve through turn 6? No, he doesn't. Gets that curve, now he goes up the hill, powering up, difficult one to get right. The car wants to understeer and oversteer, push itself wide, keeps to the left hand side, into the first Degner, slight lift, and then late on the brakes, he uses the dip nicely, and that slanted exit curve through 9, then the kink of turn 10 into the late braking hairpin. We'll see some different lines, I'm sure, during the race through there. He takes the sort of middle line through turn 11, important to get the traction down. Through this long turn 12, can be quite bumpy as well on that inside line. You see the car oscillating, you can actually hear it bouncing off the floor, and then into Spoon Curve, the tighter turn 14 part of it. There it is, again trying to get the traction down for Dean as we go through this very bouncy. Look at the car bouncing up and down this straight. There's actually not really a great line you can pick through there, but is it going to be flat out for 130? Oh, it absolutely is. Try not to screw up too much speed. About the 100 metre board he brakes. Takes a lot of the curve at the first part of the Casio triangle. Important to get that drive down the hill, and he certainly does. Takes the quicker line to the line, and is in second with a 29.3 in his first run. Really good lap. Beats his teammate who's on a 29.5. So there we are folks, it's a 129 lap. I'm sure we will see roughly that during the race. We might see the 130s. I think if we get into anywhere close to sort of the 131s, I think that'll be a very, very strong lap time indeed. Everybody in the pits waiting for their final run, I am sure. So while we're doing that, let's have a quick look at the Drivers' Championship. So it is Dean, only 5 points ahead of his teammate now, after those races that he's missed. And then Liquid Gas not far away at all on 128 points, so less than 30 points for Liquid Gas away from the Kick Saubers. Then we've got Dom, who is currently, where is Dom? There he is in 7th. He is only 7 points back, but tied, ironically, is Mike Taylor on the qualifying ban. And Vexman on 120 points. Monster just a little bit further back, but he's got Blood Diamond and Grimo snapping at his heels as well. So there is a lot riding on this evening in terms of the drivers' standings, but let's have a look at the constructors. Kick Sauber with a 98-point lead over McLaren, 317 to 219 points. So that is a big swing, so Mike is going to be wanting a really strong performance this evening, because Red Bull, Monster and Vexman, the dynamic duo, snapping at his heels, only 4 points back. They've got a little bit of a margin over VCarb. That's about 40 points. Then you got Ferrari not far away in 5th in the championship on 158. The Williams slightly further back, 29 further back. To the Williams on 129 points. And then Mercedes on 64. Aston Martin are not represented this evening. Neither are Mercedes. And Haas and Alpine, of course, not in this league. So that was a bit hairy to bring that through to you, I must admit, folks. But there's quite a bit there. Quite a lot to digest, I think, for everybody. And yeah, like I say, there's a lot riding on this race. You know, round 9 that we're at already, and not too many races left. So there's quite a bit at stake. It's quite important. We are getting to the business end of the season, so yeah, it's going to be a bit close, I think, as a few people have finished now for a session. Dean and Trem have retired in the respective pits. Let's have a look. Liquid Gas has gone back out on the hard tyres, interestingly. Hasn't bothered with a soft tyre run. Thought he might have actually given it a go. He will have quite a lot spare for the race, so it's going to be an interesting one to see what he can do in the race and what strategies he's going to employ. Maybe a 2-stop, maybe. Maybe thinking if there are going to be some safety cars, because safety cars around here can be quite major, to be honest. You do get a few. The walls around here are not that far away, so with the high-speed nature, of course, if you start getting that slide on the rear that's uncatchable, you can find yourself on a one-way ticket to the wall. And of course, we've seen some big crashes here in recent years, and of course the fatal one we saw a number of years ago, which I won't mention. Of course, the tragedy, the episode Formula 1 in the horrible wet conditions. But Thomas is also still going. He improved, 29.4 exactly, less than a tenth behind his teammate, but Blood Diamond's lap still standing strong. But we're coming to this business end now. The checkered flag has gone. This is the final laps for all of these drivers who may be on a lap. And we'll keep an eye on Jack as he comes to the end of the first sector, see how he's getting on. And we'll look to see who else is there. Is he up on his time? He's slightly down. We'll leave him for this moment. What about our provisional pole sitter coming to end his lap? Takes the first part of the Casio Triangle very nicely indeed, really attacking that inside curve. And the right-hander takes a little run to the line, and he doesn't improve. So, Blood Diamond still sits on provisional pole. What about Grimo, his teammate, there in 5th? Slightly ahead of Monster, who is also on a lap of Grimo, doing this on the mediums, which is interesting. Monster choosing to take the soft tyres. So different and a variable in strategy there. But Grimo's used all of his deployment on the run towards the line. Is it going to be an improvement? It's not. What about Monster? He seemed to be up, and it's second for Monster. Front row start at this moment. Jack is still 3/10 down. Thomas is finished. So that it looks like it is. Jack has finished. So it's going to be Blood Diamond who's going to start the mediums. Monster on the softs. They're the top two. Then the Kicks Hours in 3rd and 4th. Liquid Gas in 5th. Grimo on his return in 6th. Just ahead of Dom Walsh. And it's Vexman, the other Red Bull, in 8th. Then the McLarens bring up 9th and 10th. Very close there. Just the majority of the pack. difficult circuit. You do tend to see a few gaps forming because it is a tricky one, as mentioned, very technical and high speed. An interesting pit lane, this one. You can see them bouncing up and down. The sort of each, because of the slope that you get down the pit straight, they have to be on a level playing field, or a level pit box. So it is interesting that they're all sort of on a plinth, all of these positions. So we've now got a few minutes where we will wait. And again, we're not yet sure what the weather's going to be for the race. Again, it's going to be a difficult race for all of the drivers. But there we are, the standings. So Blood Diamond actually set his fastest lap on the soft tyres as well. So top two will be starting on the soft compound tyres. I think the third will as well. So Dean will be starting on the mediums. He'll be happy with that, only using one lap on those tyres. But very, very close. Look at that. It's only just over a tenth of a second. The top three, less than half a tenth between the top two. But now we'll just take that little bit of a breather. Well, people will be looking at changing whatever they can in terms of their setups, and it's very cloudy. Very cloudy indeed. So that's going to be interesting to see who can get any of these tyres up to temperature. Be interested to see if we see anybody start on the hard compound tyres, because of course that is going to be a real difficulty, really hard work for them to get those up to temperature under heavy fuel in these opening laps. I'd imagine we'll see a lot of medium tyres, potentially a couple of softs, so it could be wide open here, ladies and gents. But while we're waiting, please do get involved. Love to hear you in the stream chat. I don't know if you can like on here, but if you're not following, please do give us a follow, and also our YouTube channel as well, where all of these streams do get uploaded to, and once we hit 50 subscribers we will be posting live on YouTube as well. IliquidGasL is happy with the top 5 on the hards. There wasn't much grip. No, I can understand that. Low fuel hard tyres, even in those conditions, it was warmer there and sunnier in qualifying, but yeah, the hards are not going to give that overall grip that you just want, and that pace is there. They may feel sort of stable, which they tend to after a couple of laps, but again, with that low fuel, difficult for the warm-up, and just that overall feel of it, the overall grip and pace, just not quite there. But yeah, to qualify there in 5th, definitely something I think the Kick boys might just keep their eye on and be interested to see, because not far away, only probably about half a second I think it was, 6/10 away as well from our poleman. So you know, it says a lot about what Jack could have got out of those medium tyres. Even the softs, we could have definitely been in the 28s, I think, with those. But it's going to be an interesting one this race, as I mentioned. I'm sure we'll be going live in a few moments. So let me know everybody else's thoughts. Let me know who you're tipping for a win. Who are you tipping for a podium? What about Mike starting in 10th? What about him coming through the pack? Sure, it's something. I know it is a challenge that he's really looking forward to and is thriving in. He has definitely got the bit between his teeth, and he is looking to push forwards in the opening stint. But as mentioned, about this crunch time of the season, of course, where everybody is really pushing on for the championship standings, and as mentioned, it is very, very close. So there's going to be a lot of people really with that overall picture in mind, and sometimes this could be one of those points where they think, well, okay, play the long game in this championship. I'm not going to try and make this overtake, or I'm going to settle for this position and take the points home. If you're not necessarily fighting with somebody directly. But we are racers, aren't we, ladies and gents? We are racers by heart. So chances are that's probably not going to happen very often. And here we have the formation lap. Everybody is ready to go. Let's have a quick look at those tyres. So, of course, the top two are on the soft tyres that they qualified on. Dean is on the mediums that he qualified on. Then a bit of a mix between the hard compounds and the mediums. So this is going to be an interesting first stint, I would have to say, especially in these cloudier conditions. Drivers on the hards, that does smell to me a little bit like we are going to have a dry race here this evening, which, to be fair to players like this, that's a bit of a breath of... They'll be breathing a sigh of relief, I'm sure, the drivers this evening. But Diamond just scooched off a little bit early on, starting to catch the pack up, doesn't want to get too far ahead. Ooh, Dom and Vexman, what happened to those two? There may have been a bit of a coming together, I think, because they don't get damaged, but they are disqualified. They will have 0 temperature in their tyres to start, and Dom is going to be really hard pressed because he is on the hard tyres, of course, don't forget. That's going to be crucial when it comes down to the racing as well, especially for the championship, which I'm just going to go back to now. Is he? There he is. So yeah, you've got Vexman up there in 6th, tying on points with Mike, but Dom as well, not far away from IliquidGasL and only 1 point ahead of Vexman. So they're in a direct competition in the driver's standings. That just means it's going to be even harder for them. So there's the strategies, mediums to hards, about midway through the race. Of course, those starting on the hard tyres, we'll be hoping for 0 safety cars, 0 interruptions for their stint. I am sure. Try and take them a little bit longer if possible, if there is an early safety car, and I think an early safety car will be what the two gentlemen here on the soft tyres are going to be potentially hoping for. But Monster actually only did 1 lap on his soft tyres, so they won't be too bad in terms of the wear. But now then, let's have a look how they line up on the grid. Seems all good so far, as we've got a nice view of the grid and the lights with our final drivers, Grimmo lining up on his spot. Everybody manages to park perfectly well, which is great. So folks, here we go. 2, 3, 4 and 5 red lights, and MRS in Suzuka is away, and let's go racing. It's been a difficult, snaky start for Monster. He's under pressure from Dean already down the hill into turn 1. Dean trying to sweep around the outside. Monster cuts him off, has the inside line. Dean didn't quite have the grip, so he's had to sit where he is. Mike's already got 2 spots. Difficult start for IliquidGasL. He's dropped down to 9th already. Grimmo, good start for him. He's up that spot. Vexman, important, got the launch he needed to get past Dom and those on the harder compound tyres. There's only Thomas Head on the hard tyres, so it's going to be interesting to see what he can do in terms of the heat and the warm-up and the overall grinding grip that he's going to have. But so far, Blood Diamond showing his pace that he has. Wow, look at Thomas! Wow, over the exit curve of the Degna. I think IliquidGasL and Trem may have had a little bit coming together, or just trying to take avoiding action as well. They were slow from the second Degna. They've just dropped a little bit back, but I'm sure they'll be pushing hard to get back up. Monster nearly a second away from Blood Diamond. He has really put the hammer down in these early stages where the grip should be with the soft compound tyre runners, but Dean all over the back of the Red Bull. Thomas has dropped back just a little bit, and let's have a look at those position changes. Mike up 2 already, Vexman up 2 as well, and Grim up 1, where IliquidGasL had that terrible start and now down in 9th position. Get rid of that now off the screen. DRS is going to be activated this lap, so it's going to be important for Monster to get close. But we've got Dean, he's coming, he's using his battery. Is he going to go to the inside? Monster gives half a bit of defence, but Dean is through into second. I think Monster, in terms of the championship, not really fighting with Dean. Dean quite a way ahead, of course, leading the championship from his teammate who's currently in 4th and struggling a little bit with a hard tyre warm-up. He has got everybody else right on his gearbox. There is Grimo on his return. The Red Bull of Vexman got a little bit wide through that part of the track through turn 6. And again, this is just where the tyres need to bring them in a little bit as easy as they possibly can, get the heat in them and then not push them too hard. That first sector you can overheat the tyres just a little bit more than you really want to, and that's where the grip starts to go away. They'll start to really burn up. But Monster's keeping with Deem, important for him to do, because at this point they are pulling away quite dramatically, you'd have to say, from Thomas, who's got the pace where it needs to be. So Grimo can't get past. Another difficult circuit this one is to overtake. You sometimes do see some moves into the Casio triangle after 130R using the slipstream, maybe a bit of battery, but I tell you what, Vexman under a lot of pressure from Dom and from Mike. This could be these moves into 130R. Let's have a ride on board with Mike. Is anyone going to try a move there? Not this time out, all being sensible. I tell you what, Grimo's having a little bit of a think about it. There's a little bit of a tap from Vexman. Looks okay though. Everyone now setting past that Monster's pit already. He's had enough of those soft tyres. Let's have a quick look and see what the tyres he decides to go on. I think he's on plan E. Grimo using the DRS. He is through now on Thomas. And now trying a 3.7 gap already. He's got to chase down the top 2. Dina's already through on Blood Diamond as well. Missed that one, sorry. But Monster, I wonder if he's... that was quite a slow pit stop for Monster. I wonder if he had wing damage somewhere. Maybe a slight mistake and he's had to replace his wing, but hard tyres for Monster. So it'll be a 2-stop strategy for the Red Bull man. Of course, another 24 laps to go, and this is one of those races that just keeps on going. It is hard work for the driver, especially that last sector with all the bumps that we see and saw during qualifying. But Diamond not disappearing off the back. And Grimo has closed a couple of tenths so far this lap on the top 2. The medium tyre is working nicely for him. Takes that nice wide line through Spoon. Careful you don't go too wide, you can incur a track limit warning for going a little bit wide, but he manages to use that the outside curb through turn 13, the first part of Spoon, to set himself up very nicely and keep the car rotating nice for the tighter second part. So far nice and clean. Blood Diamond's having a bit of a look. I think Grimo's going to be under pressure as well. Look at this, trying to break the toe, but now Thomas is coming through into turn 1. He does. Vexman not close enough, isn't able to do anything about the sister car at this moment in time. But right on the gearbox, Vexman through this part of the lap. He is fast and furious through here. But Thomas now on the hard tyres. Leads this train of cars. Look at this. This is nose to tail action. Again, it's not wide. There's not a lot of places you can overtake. Dom's having to think about it though on Vexman. I'd say a championship very much at stake here. It's going to be interesting to see what Andrew can do. Fresh hard tyres. See if he can start to close the gap, and I think IliquidGasL got a better exit through the hairpin, and he's trying to have a look round the outside through turn 12, and generally speaking actually that is not the worst place to be out there. Yes, it's longer because you are going around the outside of a not so straight, but it doesn't seem as bumpy, I find, so it's probably not the worst line in the world. Everyone's status quo at this minute. Mike's just sort of flirting with the outer reaches of that DRS detection point. I think he's going to be underneath it. Ooh, that's difficult because I think that white line there on the braking is the detection point. Got a little bit deep as well into the Casio triangle. Could this give Jack just a little bit of impetus, though? The rear wing did open for the McLaren, so he may get a chance. Grimo's now having a look back on Thomas. Retakes that third spot, and further back we've got Jack did get through on Mike. They're both on hard tyres as well, so that's important for Jack. Vexman and Dom had a little bit of a think about it as well. Top 2, those gaps stabilised, 3.5 seconds. It's going to be interesting to see how long Blood Diamond will take these tyres. Monster closing a little bit of time now onto Trem, who's dropped off the back of this pack. Actually, fantastic first sector. What's happened to Blood Diamond? Was there something? There's a yellow flag in sector 1. Oh, I think that was Monster. Oh, Monster's had a moment. Maybe that was through turn 1 and 2. And he's lost half a front wing. This is going bad to worse for the Red Bull man. Started in second. Just not had the grip. Oh, wide up Dunlop as well. Oh, it's heartbreak for Monster. Difficult evening for him. It is one of those tracks that can be difficult, but... And unfortunately, it's... Even though it's the year that Monster needs good results, just this track, Suzuka track, has come and bitten him hard this evening. Difficult one for him. Dropping lots of time at this moment. But going back to these battles, but Diamond's still sticking there. Thomas is having a little fight with Vexman, who had a look. Oh, trying to stick his nose in through turn 2. Got to be careful through there. A front wheel. Ooh, what happened to Jack there? He got a bit squirrely. I think he's just about kept it. He has. But he's having a fight with Dom. He is desperate to get through. He's got to try different lines through the S's. Very, very difficult to make anything happen through there. Very difficult indeed. But Grimo is definitely catching. And this train is catching the leaders. But Diamond now about a second off the leader. Monster has retired. Yep, difficult evening for Andrew. So unlucky. But head up, we've got another race in 7 days' time. Well, actually, for you, mate, it's only 5 days. Actually, it's 24 hours, I do believe. It's 3 leagues. Here's Monster. Going back. This train definitely catching. The gap was over 3.5 seconds. Now down to 3.1. It was touching on 3. But is Blood Diamond going to be able to close a little bit more at this point? It's interesting to see how the soft tyres start to feel after 6 laps. Sure, they probably won't feel as nice as Dean's mediums, and they're in that response. Very snaky from Blood Diamond. Does get the rear wing open though to help him and propel him along. Grimo has got a 7/10 cushion to Thomas, who's probably going to be looking more in his mirrors than he is ahead of him at this point, but everyone's all nice and he goes and takes that wider line through. One gets the car stopped for 2 though. There's Vexman getting very squirrely. He's on the medium compound tyres, is Vexman, in this train, surrounded by people on the harder tyres. So this is crucial. This could be really hurting Vexman at this moment. Grimo's catching quite a lot now, because I think Blood Diamond's tyres have started to give the ghost. He's dropped another half a second in this lap so far through that first sector. So this could be Grimo now starting to close that gap. He's got a bit cleaner air as well on those medium tyres, so they won't be overheating, they won't be working generally as much as everybody behind him. But because of that one DRS zone and how difficult it is to overtake here, everyone is just status quo, nose to tail. Unless someone who tries to force a move. We've got Dom right up the back of Vexman, pulling out of the slipstream, but he's going to actually get one from the Sauber ahead. That's very, very close to 130, and he goes around the outside. He carries the speed, and Dom makes it through on Vexman. Very good driving. No contact, I don't think, was made through there, but Vexman would have been at a disadvantage. Blood Diamond has now pitted, so end of lap 7. Those soft tyres crying now, and he will change to the hard tyres, try and go as long as possible on those. Potentially could take those to the end. Got 19 laps to go. I think they should go to the end, in fairness. Of course, not a tyre of choice for anybody else on the grid. And now Grimo back to free air. He leads this train of 6 cars as Vexman goes a little bit wide through the deck and he gets a first time penalty. That was one of the places you can go wide, as well as 130R. I'm sure I just saw some carbon fibre fly off there, but we're getting a few little jumpy glitches this evening. There has just recently been an update as well, so Codemasters doing their thing, as always. Fingers crossed for F1 25, due to be released, I think it's the 31st of May, so even earlier this year, only 2 months to go. If you manage to sign up for the beta program, I've got an email through today that they're opening a forum for it, so I think and I hope and pray that I manage to get the beta again this year. So I look forward to giving that a go in the early stages to see how the cars feel and the handling models of them. Grimo as well now gets 3 seconds, must have gone wide through the triangle. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Hopefully they do fix a lot of the bugs that we've seen that have plagued F1 24. As Trem's next man to pit. But Trem gets speeding in the pit lane. Oh, heartbreak for the Scouser. He's going to score some good points though, so he just needs to keep it going. Of course, if he doesn't pit, that's going to be applied at the end of the race. But it's a bit earlier than we like to see. We saw on the tyre graphic, or the pit strategy graphic before the race, that you're looking between lap 13 and 16 even, so again the mediums are supposed to hold up really well, but then you will have to go to the hard tyres, so it's going to be interesting to see who manages to keep them that long and in such good shape as well. And now Blood Diamond back in clean air. He's got 19 seconds to the back of this pack, so I'm going to see how much he can close that gap as well. While his teammate currently in second, still has to pit of course, but he's on the medium tyres. There he is. Doing well in his defence. We've seen with Thomas really, who's just been so quick when coming through the pack this season. We've seen him a few times where he's absolutely flying, and I tell you what, the man's not even waiting. I think Grimo, well, did Grimo let him through? Did Grimo have a moment and go wide there? Because Thomas got through on the exit of 130R and got the DRS as well. This has really hurt Grimo from absolutely nowhere. Grimo, who was I've literally jinxed him, and now Dom through as well. Grimo second to fourth in the matter of a couple of corners there. Not ideal for this man. And now he's got Vexman, Jack and Mike Taylor for company. Blood Diamond's actually taken about a second out of this group as well, but they've also taken good chunk, they've taken a good 6 cents out of our leader. So maybe those mediums are starting to go away. It's starting to brighten up a little bit as well. So potentially the track's starting to get a little bit warmer. Of course it's going to get a bit grippy with the rubber laid down. Grimo just needs to sort of hold on tight. IliquidGasL is having a look into the hairpin on Vexman. Very opportunistic from IliquidGasL. He can see that the medium tyres haven't got that overall grip that they had even a lap ago. And those hard tyres really working well for the Williams. So he is going to be close to Grimo, who really seems to struggle for pace at this moment in time. Really, his pace has dropped off. He's now struggling to keep within a second. Second and third, who are disappearing off at the distance, and because they're on the hard tyres, of course, Jack will want to follow them through very, very quickly indeed. That gap's come down by a second this lap. I think those medium tyres are really starting on me to struggle. Dean has carried on though, so has Grimo, so has Vexman, but I think they are starting to struggle. Dom was such a drive. Wow, what a move. Had to almost take a avoiding action, never mind an overtake. Had to take avoiding action. Mike's now through as well on the outside into turn 1 into turn 2 on Vexman. Yep, I think those mediums are starting to cry out now. I don't think they'll go to lap 13 personally. I don't think they'll be in very good shape if they do. Is it now about time? Everyone starts to go into the pit lane now. For our leader, for Grimo and for Vexman. Because that gap now was 4 seconds, 2.4 seconds. Mike said some purple first sector as well. So he is a man on a mission. He said he was going to try and relish coming from 10th on the grid after his qualifying ban from last week. But look at this, IliquidGasL even through here up towards Spoon. IliquidGasL pressuring Grimo. You can make moves into Spoon. I can only say that because I've done it. A little bit scary though, I must admit, folks. It's very, very quick, that first part. Very late braking as well to get the car turned, and yeah, it is very scary to try and make a move into Spoon. You've really got to trust the guy that you're racing with and alongside, that he's going to see you as well. So Jack down the hill. Still not pitting for Dean, but he's lost a good second and a bit this lap. IliquidGasL close to the back of Grimo, but can't make it. Thomas can't make a move on Dom as well, but that gap still coming down. So good racing so far. Look at how close Jack is to the spoiler and the diffuser of Grimo. That's where the cars just start to complain with the dirty air, but I would think with Jack and Mike, for that matter, being that close to the back of Grimo and to each other, that actually the dirty air probably won't really come into effect. You sort of get underneath it. Jack, you get into the hairpin late on the brakes, gets the car stopped, gets it turned a little bit squirrely on exit, but gets it stopped on a sixpence. And Jack now up into fourth. He's made the places back that he lost early on at the start. And now the hard tyres really working well for him. Grimo loses another place and he's going to be under pressure from Mike. Look how close Mike is coming out of Spoon in the background. There it is. But are we going to see any pit stops? That gap, only 1.5 seconds on board with the Ferrari. There's our leader. This is close now. This is a battle of who blinks first, who's going to pit. Dean keeps on going. Grimo does pit, so does Vexman. They have had enough of those medium tyres. They had really been struggling the last 2 laps or so for that overall grip, but that now releases Mike and IliquidGasL to climb to the back and clutch to the rear wing of those drivers in front. 1.3 seconds now, the gap to our leader. We haven't shown him for a while. There he is. Sort of had it quite nicely under control, you'd think, to start with, but yeah, now we're really starting to struggle with the mediums. He will come out about where Grimo Blood Diamond are, so that's going to be important now as well, because Blood Diamond, Dom's got a 3-second penalty going wide at Degner. Another driver to fall foul of that, but yeah, this is it. Now this is very interesting because Thomas has just dropped to about a second, but I'm sure he'll get that back very soon. Dom's actually managed to get under that 1 second window. You know, get a bit of a distant toe off the back of Dean in his slipstream, but Dean, it's going to be interesting to see what he can do. Who is that that's had the moment? Is it Grimo? It was Grimo under the bridge second. Degner, he's lost his wheel. Oh, that goes the end plate. No, his wheel, sorry, he lost his end plate. As Trem's now gone over it. I was just curious to see if he actually would do that, or how the game was going to play that with a bit of debris, but no, did it well. But that's heartbreak for Grimo. What a good stint he was having in the first stages. And now it's going to be interesting to see if he can cope with that. Thomas has actually pit. He was on the hard tyres. Thomas has pit a little bit early. That's interesting, because that's now released IliquidGasL. But Thomas surely will put the medium tyres on. He certainly does. He'll want to go to the end of that now. But we're looking at Dean. He's on 13 lap olds. We're halfway through the race now. And Dean's tyres are not feeling great. We've seen a few drivers bail on those mediums early. So it's interesting that Thomas has decided this is the point he wants to go into the pits. Grimo's had to pit again. That's heartbreak for him. Oh, his dump was very wide. First part of the Degner. Grimo surely... He's got another set of hard tyres. Nope, mediums it is. Apologies. So hopefully he can make those last to the end. On lighter fuel, of course. Has he managed to replace his front wing? I know the game is a little bit funny sometimes. He decides, no, I'm not going to. But and he hasn't! Oh, Grimo, he left. There is a selection, you can leave it on automatic, and sometimes it changes it, unless it's really damaged, it won't change it, and that's the case for Grimo. He's made that pit stop. It's heartbreak for Grimo, fighting potential podiums, and now find himself, he'll probably be another pit stop behind. After this, is Dean going to decide to pit? He does. Our leader now pits. Dom carries on. So does Liquid Gas and Mike. So now we've got a switch for the lead. Dom takes the lead of the race. Got the DRS as well. But Liquid Gas is right on his tail with Mike. So Dean now hard tyres. You'll see how steady they are. And he'll be quite comfortable with those, I'm sure, for the rest of the race. When's he going to leave the pits? There is Blood Diamond. Where is the Sauber? Not even close. There it is, leaving the pit lane. But will he get out ahead of his teammate? He does get out ahead of his teammate, crucially. But difference in tyres now between the Kick Sauber boys. Mike with 3 seconds. That's crucial for him in his battle in the championship standings. Those 3 seconds. Of course, they're still to pit as well. Interestingly, Blood Diamond hasn't made too much headway into the top 3. But Mike, oh, big moment he had, because he's lost his front end plate. He's lost half a front wing. Wow, missed that. Just saw the 3 seconds, but Mike really dropped. I'm sure this will be the lap he decides to pit. Yep, locking up, can't get that car turned with the damage on the front wing. Massive loss of downforce. Wow, and he's actually lost a huge amount of time. That was 18 seconds, that gap, and it's suddenly down to 10 seconds, so he's going to lose a considerable amount of time. I think Grimmo's just sort of continuing on at this moment in time. Are any of these two going to pit? Dom does pit. So, Liquid Gas now, another change of the lead. Liquid Gas has not pitted. Mike does pit. I think he had no real choice in the matter there. Mike is in the pits. Will he get a front wing change? Yes, he does. Well, he's going to drop him well down the order. Right behind the Kick Saubers, as Thomas has now come close. There is Dom leaving the pits. Is he going to split the two? He can't quite split the 2 kicks, but he's on fresher tyres. Now then, battle on, ladies and gents. Look at this, these 3 have pitted. They're closing in on Blood Diamond as well. Mike, after his loss of time, is pitting for the mediums. 11 more laps to go after this one. But he's now sort of in a world of his own. That's okay, just needs to put the lap times down. A bloody, oh, kiss the inside curve of Dunlop right on board the front wing. I bet that would have been a bit leery for Mike. Had to go wide, but managed to keep the car in a straight line. Very easy to really get a tank slapper on over the grass there. And lose it, and once you've lost it up there, that is one-way ticket, unfortunately, to a DNF. And what would probably be, for that point, a safety car, which would have helped the man who is now pitting again. Again, I say, but another pit stop. We've seen that every driver has now been into the pits because Liquid Gas, our leader, is pitting. Where will this feed him out? Is he moving? No, he's on the medium tyres. He's now moving as Blood Diamond comes round the final corner and down the hill. This might be quite close, actually. Where is the Williams? There it is, leaving the pit lane. But it's all to do with the next couple of drivers. This is so tight and Liquid Gas can't quite get out ahead of Dean, Thomas and Dom. So this quartet, Thomas is the one who pitted first, then Dean, then a lap later was Dom, then Jack. And they're closing on Blood Diamond, who did pit quite a lot earlier than everybody else. Started on the soft tyres. Don't forget our pole sitter, the man who's currently leading the race. So he went early on the hard tyres. Hopefully here we want just to take them to the end, and hopefully he's got enough speed, pace in them overall to be able to do battle with everybody behind on the fresher tyres. But at the moment they'll be feeling okay. Look at Dom, I tell you what, he is really harassing the back of Thomas going into Spoon. Thought about trying to almost go around the outside if Thomas had gone defensive, but he didn't. He saw it coming. As you were, ladies and gents. But Dean is just outside that DOS as well. Apologies for that, folks. I had a little bit of a sneezing fit there. No idea where that came from. Very unprofessional, I know. But look at this. Jack just trying to keep out of the slipstream at this moment in time for Dom. Really on the dirty side of the track, right on the inside. That wouldn't have done his tyres any good. But knowing that he didn't want to get too close into turn 1, Trem with a 3-second penalty to add to his woes. Let's have a look at that penalty situation. Of course, Trem got that 10 seconds for speeding in the pit lane, but I tell you what, Jack, we were looking at the penalties, but Jack threw the S's, made that move stick on Dom, maybe caught him by surprise a little bit. Because Dom's got that 3-second penalty, so does Fexman, Mike and Grimo. Then, of course, that extra 10 on top of that for Trem. Top 4 currently penalty free. Now, they are very, very close to our leader. Those fresh tyres of Dean's, the hard tyre, they'll be coming into the run. They'll be nicely warmed now. But I tell you what, Jack is definitely showing some fantastic pace at this moment, all over the back of Thomas. And of course, any points he can take over the Kick Saubers are going to help him pull away from the group of drivers chasing him in the standings and just close that little bit more. But I tell you what, we're going to see some moves and shakers, I feel, down the start-finish straight this time round. We've got Jack up the back of the Kick Sauber, but they've got the kicks all over the back of our race leader. Everyone trying to get the slipstream. A lot bumpy there on the inside, but is Dean going to be closer to turn 1? Had to back out, but got a snap of understeer as the load switched and the downforce changed into turn 1. But Dean's gone wide, not Damon's gone wide, Dean's gone around the outside and made the move. Opportunistic. Really pounced on that. Blood Diamond just drifted wide. Oh, looks a little bit understeery. So maybe those hard tyres slightly past the best at this moment in time for Blood Diamond. Flashing away that light. He's used as much energy as he possibly could. Jack got a great exit for the second deck. There's been a little bit of contact with Thomas. Jack's trying around the outside this time. Can he make it stick? He can't. And now this is letting Dom have a little look as well at the Williams, but can't make it. Wow. Jack trying through the deck. He's got a great exit through the second part up to the hairpin. Thomas saw him coming, tried to fend him off, pushed Jack a little wide in the hairpin so he couldn't get the car turned. He couldn't get the power down. And now, for another lap, Jack has to look at the rear wing of that Kick Sauber and the Unleashed sponsorship decal that it has. Well, Blood Diamond, look at that down the hill, very screwy. That's going to leave him very vulnerable to Thomas. Thomas is looking, he's trying to go on the outside of him, but the slipstream, everyone's sort of level on it. It's Blood Diamond going to be able to hold it. He's sort of backed out, I think, a little bit. There's a bit of contact that has it, but tell you what, Jack's been passed by Dom as well. Mike says the fastest lap of the race. He's in that clear air that we mentioned. Oh wow, change for the lead. Look at this, top 2 and the Kick Sauber boys. Where have I heard that before, hey? But Blood Diamond, his tyres just not able to hold on. Dom very opportunistic. Don't know if Jack got a little bit squirrely. I had to take avoiding action from a few of the drivers around him. So, here we go. Very close once more. Jack very late on the brakes as he goes into Spoon Corner. But I tell you what, he's very opportunistic. Got a better drive off the turn and he's gone to the bumpier side, you have to say, of the track. But there they go, side by side. Jack on the inside, just a bit more pace and gets through. Crucial for Jack. Blood Diamond's tyres starting to go. We've still got another 7 laps to go after this one, folks. Tell you what, the first half flew over. Now with all this action, it seemed to go on quite a long time, and I hope I could go up before the end. Well, thank you to the 4 of you who are sticking with me. This is surely going to get very exciting towards the end. I hope we don't see a 0.06 across the line like we did it in Baku a couple of weeks ago. But now everybody through the S's in the first sector of the lap, nose to tail once again. One racing line through there. Although we have just seen a few overtakes, so not always the case. Dean being opportunistic on Blood Diamond. Now IliquidGasL trying to have a look. Take different lines into the hairpin, taking a lot tighter line. Can they get the car straightened up and get the drive, but the Ferrari just manages to get the power down. So Dom stays ahead at this moment in time. But everyone's still close together. Blood Diamond dropping off the back. Just his tyres have cried enough, I think, at this point. So he'll be looking, I think, to try and consolidate that 5th place. Our pole sitter for the evening. But now then, let's have a look on board with Thomas. A little bit of wheel spin coming off the Casio Triangle down the hill. He seems to be okay with the drivers behind. Is he going to be close enough to have a run down the hill to Dean? Starts to catch at the end of the straight, but Dean very, very quick indeed. Tell you what, IliquidGasL got a lot of overspeed. He tried to have a look at Thomas as well. Another change for position for Dom and Jack. But Jack is really, really pushing on now. But Dean controlling this very well. Don't forget, he's the one who's on the hard compound tyres. But we saw in the first stint, they get to a certain point where the hard tyres do seem to come into their own, and the hard tyres, they sort of cancel out the grip difference, so they are very, very equal. And of course, when you've got a man like Dean at the helm and at the wheel, it does make that a little bit easier, I'm sure. Jack, is he going to try and have a look into Spoon? He's not this time. Takes a tighter line. Can really get that car turned and slowed down with some steering angle on. So that Williams, that front of his car, responding very well indeed. Thomas under a little bit of pressure now, up to 130R. Is he going to try and have a look into the Casio Triangle? He is not. But he's going to try to get the better drive. Trying to take a tighter exit to get the car straightened up, but he took quite a bit of curb, but using a bit of his battery as well in his pursuit. Is he going to try and have a look at the inside into turn 1? He thinks about it. Thomas sort of leaves a gap. He's still just left a gap. He's on the curb. Where's Tom? He's too far back to take advantage. Jack wasn't quite close enough. Whoa, kisses the inside curb as well. That's the curb of death, that one. That's one you definitely don't want to be putting a wheel on. Jack really trying to push now. Really desperately. 4 more laps to go. Desperate to get past this Kick Sauber ahead of him. And then I'm sure we'll move on to the leader, who's not able to pull away at this time. I wonder if this is a bit of teamwork. We haven't seen teamwork since our opening round. But maybe this time out, Jack's trying to get the better traction. Gets fantastic traction actually. Out of the hairpin, he's side by side. Didn't quite have the top speed, so had to back out of it. And he's had to, so close to Thomas, had to really slam the anchors on into Spoon. Sorry about that, folks. Press the wrong button there. A total accident, sorry about that. But all this battling has just allowed Dom to keep up with them and keep in touch. Mike has actually closed the gap to Vexman as well. He's fighting for 7th and for 6th. So that could go close to the end as well. But we just can't leave this top 4 as it stands. Is Thomas going to be close enough into turn 1? He's not, neither's Jack. The attack last lap nearly ended in tears for the Williams man, and it could have ended in tears for the Kick Sauber. So just taking it a bit steadier. Blood Diamond has dropped off the back of this fall, but the gap with Vexman's sort of been steady around that 8-second mark for a couple of laps now. So Blood Diamond, like I said, consolidating that 5th place, and maybe if something happens to any of the 4 up ahead, trying to take advantage and pinch some much needed, and I'm sure very grateful, championship points. Tremor backed off a little bit as well. Jack's out trying the outside of the hairpin. Thomas has got the drive this time round, but Jack is trying to have a go. There he is, the Williams man has got the drive, he's got the overspeed. Jack's got through into Spoon. We know Leighton breaks he is. Look at the way that Jack takes the entry to Spoon. A little bit wide through the second part, but wow, really got through there. Absolutely nothing Thomas could do, but he's right there under the rear wing. Already Dean's going defensive, but look at this, Thomas into 130. They're side by side. Jack drove quite late, had to sort of avoid him, which is all good. That was fine. Very opportunistic from Thomas. Now this is very, very close, nose to tail. Can Jack get the power down the hill? DRS is going to be wide open. Thomas is going to have the DRS wide open in the back on there. Dom also going to have it. Is Jack going to try it? Dean's gone. There's been a touch. Dean came out wide. Dean's hit the entry curve to turn one. Caught squirrely. Jack did a little bit of the exit curve. Can't quite get the switch back this time round. Wow. What racing this is. I think D went defensive, came back to take the racing line, which you're allowed to do in the braking zone. I think didn't realise how close Jack was to that little bit of a tap, which would have scared Dean, because he did then come back back across and leave Jack the room, but then cause him to hit that entry inside curve of turn one. Now then, Jack on the exit of the hairpin. What can he do? How's the grip? How's the traction? Good from Dean as well, actually. So very much status quo. Some of my commentary fans like to say vice versa. Not sure why they say that, but hey ho. I'm going to have to teach them the meaning, I think. But anyway. Gas now. Thomas just half a second back, but get a nice slipstream up the hill. Jack very, very close. Going to ride on board with the Williams man. How close is he going to be? What about the traction outside of the Casio triangle? Likes to take that bit more curve to try to get the car straightened up down the hill. Got a good exit. So did Thomas actually behind. He's not that far away. But this time, is it going to be Jack taking the lead? He goes to the inside with the DRS and gets the move done. Grimaud, unfortunately, is a lap down. Had to take an extra pit stop. Saw him leaving the pits there. But now we've got a new leader. We have got... Oh, tell you what, Mike, I tell you what, I said he was going to maybe closing in the early stages of this, and he has done. He's been absolutely flying along. So Mike back up into 6th. So important points for him in the championship, but going back to the top 4. Jack now takes the lead. He has got through on both of the kick salvers. Let's have a look at those tyres, because he's on 9 laps. He is on the fresher tyres than people around him. Dean's will feel okay. They're the hard tyres we saw. They last a bit better than Thomas and Dom behind. I would say especially Thomas, 12 laps on those tyres, will not be feeling that great, I would have to say. But if he can keep it going, still could be a really good podium, because Dom has got that 3-second penalty. Let's go back to those penalty situations there. Dom with the 3. Mike, Vexman and Grimaud with 3 seconds, and Trem with 13. Grimaud wasn't quite able to close any of that gap, and I think someone's had a moment somewhere, not sure where that is. Was it? That was... Who was it? Oh, it was Grimaud, sorry, he was a lap down. So I think he's actually going for some extra points. IliquidGasL sets the fastest lap of the race. The man is on a mission now as we start the final lap of the race. Well, I sort of said that the first part. Wow, Jack! He is pushing! Power sliding out of turn 2. This man is doing everything he possibly can to take the win this evening. Has Dean got an answer? What about Thomas? He's on the more... the heavier ward, medium tyres. What about Dom? Can he do anything about this? He's got 3-second penalty. Blood Diamond 5 seconds back. So Dom, at this moment, should keep that 4th place at worst, because anything can happen as we go into the hairpin. Turn 11, place where Jack's been strong throughout this race. So is Dean as well. 0.8 of a second the gap. Gap's starting to get a bit bigger than they have been for quite some time. Dom very, very close to the back of Thomas. Thomas's tyres really starting to fade now. It's the 13th lap he's done on them. And we saw this point in the first stint where drivers starting to struggle with the wear. But of course, lighter fuel. This I'm going to try and have a look, but we're going to keep on board and follow our leader as he comes through 130R into the Casio Triangle for the final time. Dean's trying to get a bit closer. Dom's going to have a little bit of a look into the triangle, backs out of it. And it's going to be IliquidGasL though. He's going to take the win tonight in the land of the rising sun, ahead of both Kick-Saubers. Dom's going to come home in fourth with a 3-second penalty. Blood Diamond, our pole sitter, will take fifth. Vexman's got past on Mike. I think Mike had a spin somewhere or some kind of moment. Not sure exactly what it was, but that's unlucky for Mike. He had a great move for Vexman in sixth. Mike is going to be in seventh. That was the... Yep, sorry then. We've got Trem, the other McLaren. Grimmo sets the fastest lap at the race. He was a lap down, but sets the fastest lap anyway. And then Trem is going to come home in 8th. So the two McLaren drivers have progressed up the grid and scored some decent points. Grimmo on his return started really well for him, just went a bit poorly, and he's decided he's going to give that one away. And just finish. He's not going to lose any more positions, I suppose, so fair play to him. And of course, unfortunately, difficult for Monster. That was really difficult. Unfortunately, retired early on after a couple of spins and wing damage as well, straight after his pit stop. So it's actually proven that it's not the best thing to do to start on the front row of the grid, as the MRS have shown us tonight. But there it is. IliquidGasL has taken the win this evening. A much needed win, I would say, from his perspective when it comes to fighting in the championship, and to take any points he can off the two other drivers on the podium, the Kick-Sauber boys, who hardly worked together, you'd have to say. But Jack, man on a mission, takes the win and the top step, and I must say he got the game's driver of the day. And I must say, I think for the way that he kept the hard tyres going, poor start, dropped down to about 9th, I think it was, and came back, and the lap before the end takes the win. Now, so there's the provisional standings. Dom in 4th, Blood Diamond in 5th, Vexman in 6th, then the two McLarens of Mike, and then Trem, Grimmo in 9th, and then Monster, unfortunately, with the DNF, he is in 10th this evening. I'll have to go, I think, with the game's view of IliquidGasL for driver of the day. I think what a race he had, and a comeback through, made the hard tyres last as well, kept a lot of grip in them for the final part of his stint, so really, really well done. And then those mediums towards the end, just was patient, had a few looks with Thomas, had a few goes with Dean as well, but the Kick-Saubers on this occasion, no answer to the overall of the Williams. So folks, what a race that was. Really interesting race, fantastic, great entertainment, as always, from MRS. All that's left to say is thank you to all of the drivers, thank you to everybody who's watching, and thank you as well, and we will see you all 7 days' time for round number 10. Thank you everybody for watching, and I will look forward to seeing you in 7 days' time. Good night.